Humans have relied on honey for thousands of years, with its heritage deeply woven into ancient medicine, culture, and daily survival. And here we have an array of artifacts from our collection to share with you. So let's have a look. See the life of the bee. Look at that. All those various parts. Look at this ancient cave painting. 7,005 years ago in Spain show prehistoric humans harvesting honey. Humanity's relationship with bees, tens of thousands of years ago, it began as honey hunting, risky climbs to raid wild nests, which we just looked at, for scarce calorie-dense sugar, eventually evolved into organized beekeeping, shaping civilizations, medicine, and global agriculture. And here, look at this, all these different, here's those climbing up, the Egyptians, and all that in art. So here's the Egyptians. They moved from raiding wild hives to building artificial ones using twigs, reeds, and horizontal clay cylinders. They used smoke to subdue the bees, harvest honey as a sweetener, and use beeswax for embalming. Here's a hunk of beeswax. Look at this nicely. This is a technique that was developed in Germany. These ornaments, and it came to the Pennsylvania Dutch started doing it. So the Greeks, they were the original entomologists, and they considered honey the food of the gods. And you can see they have coins and jewelry and other things to show the importance of the bee and honey. Here's the types of bees. This guy, he's struggling. He's got his ladder up there, shaking the, I guess he's going to try to shake the beehive down into that nest. But the problem is all this original efforts to collect bees, look at climbing trees and all that, it all ruined the hive. So it was collecting, harvesting was destructive and involved ruining the nest to get the honey. Here's another example of these guys in medieval times attempting to harvest the honey hunters. So the Longstrath hive is the most widely used beehive design in modern beekeeping, and it was patented by Lorraine Longstrath, 1852, a Philadelphian. His key innovation, they used a vertical stacked modular boxes, and his insight was that bees have a bee space. It's precisely this gap, and if it's smaller, they will seal it up. If it's larger, they will also use wild honeycomb to seal it up. So leaving the exact space allows bees to pass through comfortably and lets beekeepers smoothly lift out the individual frame. So a huge breakthrough. And by this guy, 1810, 1895, here he is with his system, being able to lift things out. Here's his birthplace in Philadelphia, and there's the historic marker commemorating his accomplishment. Another great Philadelphian. Here's China, once again, producing the most honey. They produce practically the most everything that we've been talking about in these shows. Iran is pretty far up there, Ethiopia, the U.S. production. The Nepalese honey hunters. These are an indigenous group of people who harvest wild honey from the world's largest honeybee, the giant, there's the name of it and there's a picture of it. They make these huge crescent-shaped nests on sheer rock faces, often hundreds of feet above the ground. And you can see this is the guy who's gotten it down. I'm going to show you how they do it. The National Geographic has really documented all this. There's lots of video on the internet showing this incredible work. And so they smoke out the swarm. They use their handmade gear. They don't even use modern climbing harnesses or safety gear. And then the joust, one bamboo pole sort of cuts it off and the other one guides it down to a bamboo basket to catch the falling honeycomb. So this is extraordinary. You can see a lot of video on this. National Geographic Discovery. Whole book about it. Honey Hunters of Nepal. Got to read that. So for 3,000 years, the Maya of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, they cultivated a sacred native stingless bee, and the royal lady bee, they nicknamed their prize. It's a prize citrusy honey, revered as a gift from the gods. And you can see these little bees here, stingless. So you didn't need to use special gear to access the honey. The ancient Mayas these bees had their hives in hollowed out parts of trees. So the Maya would cultivate the bees with their natural habitat, with these logs that they would, and then you can see that it would be stacked in these houses, so that the bees still were comfortable in the kind of habitat that they liked. And then the Maya would plug this up. The bees would come in here, but the Maya would plug this up and open the stone and be able to access it. So the Mayan bee sanctuary in Cozumel Island, Mexico, dedicated to preserving this really wonderful heritage of the sacred stingless bee. And you can take a educational tour. You can buy some of their products here, the medicines, and this is a place I'd love to visit. So a single hive yields only about 1 to 2 liters of honey per year, compared to 60 pounds from a European hive. Because European bees are far more productive, they eventually outcompeted native populations. So there's been a severe decline of this bees and their honey production. But they're being preserved and restored, and there's a women-led cooperatives in Mexico and Guatemala dedicated to doing this work and producing products. So wax and religion, the rise of Christianity created a massive demand for beeswax candles in churches. Monasteries became hubs of beekeeping innovation, with monks refining hive design and extraction. And then we're going to talk about mead. Fermented honey became a staple alcoholic beverage in medieval Europe, favored by kings and nobles and warriors, and you can see them all here. So mead, alcoholic beverage, fermented honey mixed with water, widely considered the world's oldest fermented drink, dating back maybe 8,000 years, the Chinese, the Nordic cultures, etc. And here it shows you the process. There's some great posters on the internet that we are sharing with you. This is a huge subject. Here's a Polish mead made using 2 units of water for each unit of honey. And this, I love this, the Dancing Bear fermented sweet mead. This is from a Texas honey wine company. Honey wine is another term for mead. In Judaism, honey symbolizes the sweetness of the new year, Rosh Hashanah, and is traditionally eaten with apple slices. And look, of course, who doesn't like biscuits, fresh-made biscuits with honey dribbled all over it? So Utah, the state of Utah in the U.S., is the nickname the Beehive State, symbolized industry, perseverance, and community. This moniker reflects the values of the Mormon pioneers who settled the region. Hey, they originally wanted to name their settlement Desiree, a word meaning honeybee in the sacred Book of Mormon. And you can see right out front of the State House is this wonderful, iron beehive. And you can see when it was a territory, they had the beehive symbol with all the bees. And then this is the modern version, the latest version of the Utah flag with, again, the beehive. Now, Slovenia in Europe has a tradition of bee houses that specialized wooden apiary buildings where beehives are built directly into the walls, and you can see them here. Each one of these little colored, I'm going to show you one of these in a minute. Each one of these has a hive behind it. The system utilizes the AZ hives invented by Anton, Snidderzik, which are operated entirely from the back like a cabinet. Beekeepers can inspect and harvest honey while remaining completely sheltered from the wind. And we've done two short shows about this. And here's school children are all involved in the preserving of the Slovenian bee house traditions. Yeah, and look, there's so many books about, we're going to show you some of ours on this whole subject. This is a great book, Short History of the Honeybee. All right, let's look at some of our collection. And my hoarse throat held out with some honey lozenges I've been taking. Look at this wonderful postcard showing lots of action there. How about these? These are little tiny bees. Speaking of tiny, there's a Salt Lake City Olympics pin with the little beehive and the honey's little tiny bees. Huh? So we go from really tiny to, oh, what's this? Who's this? This is a really big bee here. I'm going to reach over. Oh, wait a minute. You're not a bee. You're a teddy bear. Yeah, but bears like honey. So that's why I'm dressed up as a bee. Maybe I can attract or find the honey. I guess that's what I'm doing. Okay. Well, you're pretty cute with that little outfit. And we've got, these are honey dispensers. Look at this with the little metal legs. And this one's glass and silver. And then you would have the little spoon. Here's some honey soap. Here's a really nice bottle. 1 pound pure honey. Look at that. Here's a little puppet. Here's another one of those honey pots. How did I show you? Yeah, this is this Slovenian folk art. And you can see here he's sitting back watching those bees come in and go. And each of the hives has a different panel, decorated panel. And this is actually an original panel that was brought to us from our friends the Zedniks on their travels. Of course, Dolce Italia, sweet Italy. Look at all these wonderful products. Many of them have or honey as one of their ingredients. Very sticky. This one for sure. Look at these. These are Belgian biscuits. For sure. Lots of honey going into making those. We have a lot of books, especially for children. Well, this one is fascinating history. Oh, by the way, a whole big subject is how across America with migratory beekeepers, this is a big business. They carry, you can see there, they carry the beehives to various places where they need to have the crops fertilized. You know, basically there's no food without bees and pollinators. Lovely book, The Secret Life of Bees novel. Here's Sue Hubbell's A Book of Bees. Life of the Honeybee. Oh, and the Magic School Bus Inside a Honeybee. This a beehive. This series by Joanna Cole takes kids on school trips in which they become tiny and they go inside the digestive system or inside flowers. She takes them on all these wonderful field trips. Such a great book. This book, this is what they knew about in the late 19th century, early 20th century. This was reproduced. Look at this cover. Is this ABC and the XYZ of Bee Culture? It's from the AI Root Bee Library. And this is basically everything you might want to know at the time. This was reprinted, I think, in the 50s. Originally it was just ABC, and then they added 50 years later the XYZ of it all. Great book, one of our treasures. Look at this. Anatomy of the Bee. Look at this inside cover of this book. Isn't that a lovely illustration? This is the first book of bees. Another book from the 50s, I think. Just beautiful illustrations, lots of information. It's all still good information. It's all good history. It's a lot of this has not changed. on how we take care of bees and collect honey. Then there's buzzing around, a Parker Brothers game from like 1920s. Look at the little bee in the ferry with him. I couldn't get the date of this, but it's certainly in the 1920s. The instructions are inside, and they are very complicated. And I'm not sure if anybody would have the perseverance to actually learn how to play this game. But you would twist this. This is a top. You would twist this up, and then it rolls around, and it knocks these pins, and then depending on where the pins land, you either get the, I don't know, it's complicated, but as a great cover, a fun thing. Look at the New Yorker. I love this. This one, the honeybee and the robber, a moving picture book by Eric Carle. He's a very clever guy. And some of these are too old, but look at this. You pull these, very action oriented. Some of these are not working too well. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. So these are these fold-out books. They're just works of art, really. And I love these kind of fold-out books. What's going on here? Oh, look. Goes all the way across. What do we got here? Some of this needs a little bit of conservation. Oh, here's the bear reaching in. Uh-oh, what happened here? Uh-oh, gonna get stung. I don't know if this one's working. All right, look at the owl and the tree with the. So there he is. What a clever guy. So that's it. That's our show here. Enjoy your honey. It's important. It's got a great history. And if you like these shows, by the way, you can always subscribe. It's free on Amazon. And you can tell your friends. You can leave us comments. And you can help us find a new home for all of our collections. All right. And next time we're going to be doing sugar. So stay tuned.